Reaktor is the gift that keeps on giving. You buy it once and you get access to this fantastic online resource of 6,399 creations that have been uploaded over the past 20 years so that you can download and start using in your productions straight away. The downside to that, of course, is that there are 6,399 different creations for you to look through to find the ones that are the gems. So in this video I'm going to highlight and showcase 5 of the best that I found in this library in the 20 years or so that I've been using Reaktor. Let's get straight into it. Let's kick things off with Stella. Stella is a fantastic ensemble for cranking out dark ambient sounds, drone sounds, really good if you're into film or game soundtrack and perhaps it's a horror survival game like Dead Space or Silent Hill or The Shining, something like that. Really good for adding a kind of a chilling atmosphere to your tracks. If you're looking for something a bit dark and sinister, this is a great way to do it. Gotta say I love the GUI. Not sure why, it's quite garish, bright blue, bright pink, but I think it looks lovely. And it's the opposite really of how it sounds. So it looks very bright, but it sounds really quite dark. So having said that, let's have a listen to some of the sounds. Let's kick off with Fathom, and all I'm going to do here is just press the key on my keyboard, nothing else, so you just get a good idea of the sounds. So like I said, really quite dark, and I found that the best way to alter the sounds is with these central controls here, the WAV type, the WAV mod, Galaxy Selector. I have no idea what a Galaxy Selector is, but you have that option with Stella. So we've reconfigured it a little. Let's have a listen to how it sounds now. So still very much in the realm of dark ambient and drones. Just changing a couple of the knobs here has a profound effect, which I think is great. Let's go to Heart of Hydra, and again I'm just going to press a key. Quite a majestic pad sound there. And finally let's have a go on Find Me. Let's see what this one sounds like. Very long attack. Now that sounds like it's come straight out of the mind of Stanley Kubrick. That is really sinister sounding, which I think is great, and if you're looking for that dark edge, that's a great way to get it. And let's just do a bit of sound design, or so-called sound design on the fly. Let's see what this sounds like with a couple of changes. So there you go. Stellar, a fantastic way to add a dark edge to your tracks. Looks lovely, sounds lovely. Let's move on to the next one. For the next ensemble, let's step into our time machine and go back in time and recreate the sounds of a certain Frenchman who helped define the sound of electronic music. And if you take a look at these preset names, it's kind of obvious, but when you hit a key, it becomes very obvious that we're talking about Jean-Michel Jarre. It's absolutely crazy to think that you can pick this up for free in the Reaktor library. If you own Reaktor, Jean-Michel Jarre had to spend all of that money buying the very expensive synths when they first came out and had to design all the sounds by hand, and now we get access to this, which is just really amazing. Essentially sounds from his first 2 albums. Apologies for my playing there, but you get the point. These are some fantastic, really deep, rich analog sounds. Very much styled on Jean-Michel Jarre, very much a one-trick pony, but really nice trick if you're into this kind of thing, if you want to recreate that kind of sound. Link is in the description. Go and download the ensemble and have at it. Next up is Niji tracks. I think I'm saying that right, Niji. And as you can probably tell by the graphics here, this is a drum machine. All sounds are generated within Niji tracks, so no samples are used, everything's generated internally, and this is essentially a great way to get some techno, tech house kind of sounds together very quickly and easily. It does come with about 20 different kits, but it's very simple and easy to crack on and just get different sounds yourself. So let's start with the init kit, the initial patch. So this is what they sound like. Quite recognizable sounds there in most electronic genres. So let's have a look at the different sections here that make Niji tracks up. You've got a master section at the top, so all of the sounds that are generated are sent up to the master, where you can apply delay and reverb. Very simple single knob controls there, not much depth to those, but they do go quite nicely into making different sounding kits. You've got the dry signal, and then you've got 2 different options for aggressive and softer compression, and then obviously you've got the master. Here with the different icons you access each different sound. So the snare icon is a snare, and the clap icon is a clap, so quite self-explanatory. If you want to alter the sound of the kick, you would click the kick icon and off you go, making the different changes that you need. So let's take a look at these different parameters here that you have, and each set of parameters is different for each sound. So what you have for the kick is different to the clap. So the clap has a flam option, whereas the kick has a bend option, and you have a width on the hi-hat. So yeah, each set of controls is different for each sound, and these are quite self-explanatory really. So for the kick you can change the tune it up, tune it down, and alter the tone, so you can really sculpt the sound that you want or that you're looking for quite quickly and easily. And then below that we've got the effects section here, which is the compression, and you have an EQ and you have the effects. So these are pretty standard. Compression and EQ, they do help you make your sound stand out in the mix quite nicely, particularly with the EQ, boosting and cutting, and a pretty standard compressor there. But what you do get for each different sound is a unique effects unit. So for the kick you get a bit of distortion, so without it, it sounds like this, and then you switch it on, turn it up, it starts having an effect. And this is different to each sound. So the snare has a notch peak filter, and likewise the hi-hats have their own frequency shifters. All pretty self-explanatory. So you get the parameters to change the actual sound, then compression, then the unique EQ, the unique effects, and then you go to the EQ. And that's how you change and modify each different sound within the kit. And below that we've got the mixer section. So each color obviously represents each sound. The kick is the red, snare is the yellowy kind of color, hi-hat is the cyan. So let's see what it sounds like and what the mixer section looks like when you've actually got a beat running, which I have put together a bit earlier. Nothing special. So when you're actually running a beat, you can see the Pac-Man here showing you the volume levels, which I think is pretty neat. And you can also see the sounds triggering in the colourful section up here. And what you can also do is mute and solo each sound and send each sound to the delay or the reverb as you see fit. And that's essentially it. It's a great sounding ensemble for particularly techno and tech house and minimal techno, that kind of genre, where these kind of sounds are needed. Comes with about 20 different kits already installed, which do sound quite different, as you can hear. I like that one, that's a nice one. And let's just end this video on a high note, because what you can do within Easy Tracks is randomize everything, and you can randomize each different sound as well. So let's play with the kick, which sounds like it's got a bit of reverb on it there, which it does, yep. And clicking the dice here will randomize all of these, except when you click on the bypass. So let's say I want to randomize everything except the tune. You can see what kind of effect that's having. So that's a great way of randomizing the parameters of each different sound, and by clicking on the dice up here in the master section, what you can do is randomize all of the sounds all together. And again, this is going to generate some kits which are more usable than others, but you do get some happy accidents. Let's click it a few times and see how this kit sounds now. Reverb tail there. Yeah, I think that gives you a good idea of what Nijitrax can do. Fantastic ensemble for techno, that kind of genre. Quickly and easily put something together that sounds unique, and you can go as deep as you like to sculpt each sound within the kit. Fantastic. Okay, let's move on to the next one. As you've already seen, Reaktor's fantastic for synths, it's fantastic for drum machines. It's also really good for effects units. And for this part of the video, I thought we'd take a look at a couple of the effects units that you can get from the library. And we kick things off with something that's a bit out there. Literally speaking, it's a solar loop echo. It's a recreation of the Roland Space Echo hardware delay unit. And yeah, it's done in the form of a solar system. So you've got the sun here, which dictates the quality of the output with flutter, saturation and wear, because it's a tape delay. And you've got the 3 tape heads in the form of Mercury, Earth and Venus. Within each planet you can change the parameters and the settings, volume, pan, feedback and delay time. So that's what these 3 planets on the outside do. And in the center you can change the levels of feedback, increase and decrease, and the same with the speed. And there's a freeze option, freeze functionality that we can take a look at, which is really handy for when you've got a good sounding loop going and you just want to freeze it and keep it going. We're going to trigger the unit with FM8, simple Rhodes sound, so that we can focus on the effects and how they affect the simple sound. So I think we should just get into it. I'm going to switch it on, and you can see 3 comets going around the central planet, and they are the 3 playheads. And yeah, let's just press a couple of keys and you can hear what it sounds like. Yeah, so that's a lovely soft ambient delay there going on with a bit of reversing. And let's just take a look at a couple of the other presets so you can get a better idea of what's going on. And these range from the simple to the more outlandish, but let's go for diatonic weirdness and see what that one does to the sound. Yeah, that's a bit unnerving. And may the 4th be with you. Just having a kind of pitch shifting effect there. And let's see if we can find something that's a bit crazy. Let's go for detune cloud. Yeah. So there's a wide range of effects, a wide range of presets to make use of. And that one's still going. Yeah. And what we can do, as I said a bit earlier, let's pick a simpler effect. You can freeze the loop in time and it repeats itself. Just like that. So instead of fading out as it would as a delay effect, it just keeps repeating. There you go, so that gives you a good idea of what that can do. It's a fantastic delay unit. It's a bit out there, it's a bit different, that's why I like it. Link in the description, download it, go and have a blast. Let's take a look at the next one. The last ensemble focuses on bass, and that's all it does, aimed squarely at drum and bass, techno, dubstep, any electronic genre that needs lots and lots of bass. This is the synth for that. It was created specifically to appeal to those genres, and it does it very well. It's a wavetable synth with 2 oscillators and a sub-bass oscillator. Each of the oscillators has its own ADSR envelope, and each of the oscillators can route out to filter 1 or filter 2, or any combination of both of them. The filters are here. They're both called cutoff 1 and cutoff 2, and there's a nice suite of different filters that you can use: low pass, high pass, combo, and the same for cutoff 2. So you can have cutoff 1 as a low pass, cutoff 2 as a notch, and just crank that out and see how that sounds. Cutoff, resonance, and keyboard tracking come as standard for both of these, as you would expect. And we've got 2 LFOs with a nice suite of different shapes there, from sine to something more esoteric. A Geiger hold LFO, and you get the same suite of shapes for both. As you would imagine, rate control here, which is speed things up, slow things down, standard for LFOs, and you can sync the LFO to the host tempo. This is an octave selector. It's a bass synth, so I imagine things are going to be kept pretty much locked down at -24 as the octave, but obviously that's up to you and the sounds you design. As you can see here, it's quite a modulatable synth. Nice mod matrix here with 16 different slots, and it's quite easy to select your different options. It might look a bit intimidating at first, but you simply click the drop down, and let's say LFO1 is going to control the pitch of the sub oscillator. It's done just like that, and this time we're going to have the wheel modulating the rate of LFO1. So the mod wheel will modulate LFO1, which in turn will modulate the pitch. So yeah, quite quick and easy to get some pretty complex modulations going on there. And when we click on the FX button, it reveals the suite of EQ, 4 different bands there, and you've also got 4 different effects units: delay, phaser, reverb, drive, and chorus. So a nice selection of effects there as well. So modulatable and lots of effects to change the sound that you create. Let's have a quick listen to a couple of the presets. So there's a Reese in there, as you would imagine. Nice thick simple Reese that you can use on your drum and bass tracks. And there's snarly bass sounds there like this. So if we turn the LFO down, makes it a bit more snarly. Let's change some of the criteria up here, the different waveform That's going to go to filter 2. This is going to be just filter 1. So quite easy to get some good growly results there. And what I thought I'd do with Atmos is put it through its paces with a drum and bass workout. So let's have a look at that. Here we are in my DAW, and I've already put together a drum and bass beat. This is what it sounds like on its own. Good solid drum and bass beat there, and I have 3 instances of Atmos, a Reese, a wobble and a sub. So all we're using is Atmos and the drums, and this is what we have. So there you have it, 5 super cool Reaktor ensembles. Check out the links in the description. They will take you straight to the Reaktor user library where you can download each one of these ensembles. And do let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you liked, what you disliked, what kind of suggestions for other Reaktor ensembles, which ones you use, that kind of thing. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Definitely helps the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.